What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a new episode of NecroNews.
There's a surprising amount to cover this week, so let's jump right into it. Also sub to us, okay? The fifth game in the Mega Man series has been given a color facelift via a ROM hack developed by Mark Marks.
The ROM hack also eliminates the slowdown that's been attributed to the game and adds a cool new pause menu.
How many of you guys have actually played Mega Man? I'm curious if there are enough people, maybe I'll try it out. Death First, which is the sequel to the Grasshopper Studios' Dark Souls-inspired MMO Let It Die, is going to suspend services on July 18th to work on improving the game and re-releasing it later on.
The official statement went on to say, considering how much time goes into developing a game and there's a finite number of games one can possibly make in a lifetime, it's impossible to say at this stage whether this is the right choice. Which to me speaks volumes to how much they love the game and that they want it to succeed. So, to the team behind Death First, good luck. I'm sure I'll actually give it a shot after you guys re-release the game.
But if you want to play the game but are having issues with the servers, the original Let It Die is still active and has tons of active players still, so there you go.
How many MMOs are there that are still active but completely dead? I would love to just go into these old MMOs and just kind of explore them. I think that'd be super cool.
It'd be interesting.
It'd be like a liminal space, like a virtual liminal space. The best anime about murdering goblins, Goblin Slayer, is getting a game that's not a mobile game.
Announced recently by the Goblin Slayer production committee, Goblin Slayer Another Adventure Nightmare Feast will be for Switch and PC.
Now there's a bit of speculation on what the game style will be, but as there isn't even a developer attached to the title, who knows? Personally, I would love a Musou game. I could also expect maybe a tactics RPG. I don't know. All I know is that we're getting one. So we've got some industry news. In fact, we've got a lot of industry news, so we're just gonna throw that shit in the pan to flash fry for you.
First, Gearbox Studios acquires 3D tech company Capture Dimensions.
The CMA has extended the deadline for its investigation into Microsoft's proposed $68.7 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Because, when Disney buys Fox, no one bats an eye, but God forbid Microsoft buys Activision, though. But anyway, the FTC is looking to ban non-compete clauses, which could be interesting for companies like Hololive and even our very own Kawa Entertainment.
So, for those who don't know, a non-compete clause is like, let's say you work for Hololive, but then you get hired by Niji Sanji. A non-compete clause would make it to where you'd have to turn down Niji Sanji. But if the FTC removes a non-compete clause, that means that you could work for both companies.
I don't think it would affect most Vtuber companies, since most Vtuber companies aren't stationed in America.
It's true, but for those who are, it would matter. It's a very interesting thing. We could see a lot of good and bad come from something like this.
And finally, to end the segment, Russia is seeking to start their own gaming company to try to save their country's crumbling game industry.
And meanwhile, Atomic Heart.
In Cyberpunk news, CDPR's long-standing lawsuit dealing with the awful launch of Cyberpunk 2077 has been finally settled.
The judge has approved a payment of $1.85 million to CDPR's investors from CDPR themselves.
The lawsuit has been going on since December of 2020, and while CDPR has made more than the settled amount from Cyberpunk alone, it does set an interesting precedent for games with abysmal launches.
Today's final story has to do with Dungeons & Dragons, which isn't specifically gaming, but this is important to content creators who are interested in D&D.
Wizards of the Coast has released a new open gaming license that directly affects D&D content creators and publishers. So if you make content directly related to Dungeons & Dragons, you may be hit with a copyright strike or possibly demonetized.
So the original OGL was made in 2000 and was intended for printed and printable materials, and didn't really account for other physical, digital, or competitive products. Now, the new OGL does, and will potentially affect publishers like Paizo, Green Ronin, and Cobloid Press.
Content creators making money off D&D will potentially be hit as well. It does seem like if you make money via Patreon or donos, etc., you should be fine as long as your content remains technically free. But something like YouTube ad revenue may be hit unless agreed upon with Wizards.
Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt! Lightning bolt!
Now, this is still all up in the air. Nothing has gone official, and this did come to us from a leak. They will still allow for fan content under their fan content policy, but neither of us are really into D&D. I mean, I at least played a little, but we don't really know much about it. So for those of you who are, let us know what you think of these changes in the comments below.
This week's Buried Alive banger isn't out yet, but we haven't seen a whole lot of people talk about it, which kind of sucks because he did put out a very cool music video recently.
The game is called Wanted Dead. It's an action game by Team Ninja, who did like Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden. It'll be out next month, and Ellie saw the trailer of the game and thought it was like Yakuza mixed with Cyberpunk. It looks really cool and stylish and something I'm definitely buying on day one, so definitely go wishlist it.
Here are the games coming out next week. The most interesting game so far that we've seen is One Piece, which we might buy, but we don't know yet.
It looks okay, but his style in 3D is just, it's weird.
It is weird.
I don't like it. Anyway, boomers, here's our schedule for next week. As always, thank you for watching NecroNews. Join our Discord if you want to interact with us, watch some classic movies. What movie are we watching this week?
We just finished watching Back to the Future, so we'll watch the sequel this week.
Yeah.
And don't forget to sub to us for the latest gaming news, and also follow us over on Twitch, because we just celebrated streaming for 2 years. You get to see all our stats and how much money we make, and it's interesting, okay?
It was a fun stream. Okay, guys. Well, until next time, everyone.
Goodbye.